The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on. He missed the pit completely. He's crazy.
Like I said, Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard.
Good evening, race fans. I'm Adam Young. Bristol Motor Speedway and the Premier Racing League welcome you to the Bristol 150. We look forward to 150 laps of V8 pick-em-up truck action here in the American Pool Supplies Truck Series at this short track with plenty of the bull ring type action. Joining me tonight are the lumberjack, Sean Ambrose, and the man behind the curtain running the show, Joe Peak. He'll be using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Thunder Valley. Sean, this place has it all from a full-on NHRA drag strip to the home of the last great Coliseum where we're at tonight. NASCAR races at Daytona, at Charlotte, at Darlington, and so many other great tracks, but this place is on the bucket list for many a driver. Why is that?
Bristol Motor Speedway is the fourth largest sports venue in America and the eighth largest in the world, housing up to 162,000 people. This half-mile track is so short that speeds here are far lower than you typically find on most NASCAR oval tracks, but they are very fast compared to other short tracks due to the extreme banking in the turns. Now, the track long advertised its banking as 36 degrees, which at one time made it the most steeply banked track used by NASCAR. However, Bristol Motor Speedway now lists its banking at 24 to 30 degrees, variable banking, reflecting the results of the track's most recent resurfacing back in 2007. Now, let's hop on board the GSRC Chevy Silverado for a trip around here at Thunder Valley.
This is L. Bryce Whitson Jr. coming to you from the GSRC Chevy Silverado here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Today I'm going to take you for a couple of laps and show you how to get around this tricky track. So first off, we're going to come off of the pit lane, come up here and get high going into turn 1 and 2 to get ready for your qual lap. Running up here, you want to kind of go into 3 and 4 a little bit soft and then get a really good run down off of this corner. This is where you're going to make all your speed on that qual lap. When you're up here, you're going to just get into the brakes a little bit, stay way up next to this wall, almost touch it, come off hard, and there you are going down the back stretch. You're going to go into 3 and 4 again, stay right up close to that wall, kind of drift down a little bit, make that front stretch as long as you can. Now here at Bristol, you can make a couple laps like that, but not every one. Eventually you're going to have to start backing up those corners a little bit and let it kind of coast into the corner. At that point in time, you can start looking at fuel mileage. You're going to get somewhere around 150 laps out of a full tank of gas. However, you're going to want those tires before you ever get there. So when we get here at Bristol, we're going to come down and make a pit stop here. At Bristol, there's 2 pit roads. You have one on the front stretch and one on the back stretch. Make sure you go into the right pit road or you're going to find yourself falling way back in the pack. So here we go. We're going to go into 3 and 4 and pit on the front stretch this lap. Just come down to pit road, chalk her down, shift down to second gear, 35 mile an hour into the pit lane, and there we go. That's a couple laps around Bristol Motor Speedway.
Now, I'm just going to throw this out there because I just noticed it, but James Krahula's pit crewmen are in tuxedos. I don't know why. That just seems fitting for a Bristol night race. Anyway, hey, the race details here for tonight. We're at round 21 of 31. That's right. We are now at the 2/3 mark of the season. We're going to go 150 laps around this place, and Bristol's true track length is 0.533 miles, so that's going to bring us just a shade under 80 miles here for today. The Premier Racing League American Pool Supply Truck Series runs fixed setups. There are no fast repairs, and of course it's iRacing default weather. Now, before we get to the points, remember, tight points race right now that Sean's getting ready to show you. At halfway at lap 75, this is why it's going to be a big deal. The drivers will get bonus points for being in the top 10. Now, with that said, Sean, let's review our point standings as of now and why the next 10 races are going to be crucial.
Well, they really are. Brian Yazik's really just hanging on by a thread. Now, the good news for Yazik is James Krahula just absolutely hates this place. He expressed his disdain for it just moments ago to us here privately. So, James, I'm selling you out. Tyler Dalton, a driver who is coming up the ranks here, sitting there just 45 points out in third. Now, you go back through the field here and you get fourth, through 6 there. Johnston, Gow, and Thompson had their own nice little battle going. Both of those a bit outside the top 3, but again, their battle should lead to good things if they continue to battle as close as they have. McQuiston and Ward, Runkle, all back there, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Again, having their own little good competition between the 3, and then Norm Pelletier currently in 10th, has a little bit to make up. But listen, all Norm needs is a little bit of luck. Things have been kind of tough for Norm here in the series so far this season. If he could just catch a string of luck, and well, as I'm seeing right now, one of the faster trucks in practice, if Norm could, like I said, just find a little bit of luck, this could be his night, and he could get himself up that point slider and get himself from under 10th there.
Yeah, and that's one thing about these points this year, Sean, that, of course, you take Brian Yazik, for example, started off the season so hot and then just kind of tapered off. So even those guys like Tim Johnston, Jeff Gow, Rick Thompson, all those guys are just a little bit over 100 points out. You get a couple races that go their way, they're right back in the hunt.
Yeah, and but they're running out of time. It's the last third of the season. Yeah, it's a good stretch, but it's not an eternity. It will be over before they know it. They'll be looking at their calendars and realizing we're into September. September's almost over, and then this thing is over in October. So, it's gonna be time to really focus on your racing. It's kind of funny. The qualifying session that we're following right now is 10 minutes long. But there's only 2 laps allowed that you're given to be the fastest here in qualifying. You don't need that much time here, do you, Adam?
Not when you're setting down 14, 15-second laps. And that's the thing here for tonight, that if this race can go caution-free, it's going to be over before we know it. But experience tells us it's Bristol. It probably won't. So expect an action-packed night. You see a lot of guys actually having some trouble out there in qualifying. James Kabula's already had a spin. Rick Thompson's already gotten into the wall a little bit. Brian Yazik right now, watching him 8th on the speed chart. Moved over to Jeff Ward in that Liquor Barn machine. He is now 19th on the grid. We'll see if he comes here. Well, I think his first lap was slower. I see that 14.741. There we go. That's what we know Jeff Ward would probably be right now, 3rd on the grid here.
Yeah, the Loud Pedal Motorsports driver getting his 2nd lap in now. Will it be fast enough? And did he get... and that is just kept him right there in 3rd, actually. So Ward right now on the provisional spot here in 3rd. Brad Collins just completed his 2nd lap. That was good enough for 10th. I don't see anybody else out on track right now attempting a lap. Still have several guys sitting in the pit, though. Andrew Jones, Paul Pepper, Rick Thompson, Fred Thompson. Oh, geez, the 2 Thompsons here tonight. John Wilco, Stephen Herring, and Scott Eckridge. Actually, I'm sorry, Eckridge actually already took his couple laps there.
Yeah, this might be a strategy call to kind of be at the back of the field and let trouble sort itself out before you get there. And that's a strategy that sometimes people do play at this track. The problem is, we're running 14, 15-second laps, and even in a what looks like we'll have maybe a 22-car field here for tonight, even in a 22-car field, that leader is going to be right up on you if you're not careful.
Yeah, and that's always a factor at Bristol, is how quickly do you find the back of the field, and then how do you navigate through that traffic. We will definitely keep our eyes on that this evening. Paul Pepper actually on track here to get a lap in.
Yeah, he's going to try to sneak in somewhere here. He was 3rd fastest in practice, getting ready to see what he can do here in qualifying.
Yeah, I think he wanted to see where the bar was set. He's done that now. His first lap, good enough for 7th, a 14.7.
I think his 2nd lap might be just a touch better here. Again, I don't like his line through 3 and 4. Into the wall.
Yeah.
I think he had a good lap going right up until then. Even sliding across the line, I think he was only about 1,000th off of what his fast time was there. So Paul Pepper ending up in 7th, not exactly where he wanted to be, but still in the top half of the field. It looks like Andrew Jones might be rolling out here.
He is. He's going to light the grill and bring the Kingsford Charcoal Chevrolet out on track.
See Bushbank Beans there on the side of that. And I'll be honest to our audience here, I haven't been feeling too well the last couple of days, so now I'm able to eat normal food again. I see Bushbank Beans on the side of a truck. I'm hungry. So thank you for that, Mr. Jones.
Might I make a suggestion? Don't always hear what the director's saying. That was pretty good, but I was going to suggest maybe staying away from the beans. Maybe take it easy, ease yourself back into it, okay?
All right, well, hey, right now it looks like they're going to start the drivers' meeting. I think Travis McQuestion's the only one sitting on pit road, and I think he's ran both his laps. So this actually still has one more in the tank, but I don't think he's going to roll back out there. So I think it's safe to go ahead and give our NP3 Designs Pole Award winner, the guy that hates this place, apparently, Mr. James Krahula, driving that number 4 truck, is going to be your NP3 Designs Pole Award winner here for tonight.
All right, and congratulations to James for pulling that off and feeding us a bogus line of information. So last time I talked to him pre-race, but now James gets out there and hammers a really, really fast one down here at him.
Yeah, I wonder if that maybe will change his opinion of this place here just a little bit, but somehow I doubt it. We'll see how he does in the actual race, but at the very least, he's going to have some clean racetrack in front of him after this fantastic MP3 Designs winner pole award lap. You can see here on his first lap, this is where we thought, okay. No, really, I think what he was doing, he was just warming up the tires, right, Sean?
Yeah, just warming them up a bit there. Now, listen, the important thing to remember tonight, this track started with a 40% track state. They've had a two-hour practice session here. So that has really probably started to tighten up the track just a little bit. Maybe even that bottom line disappearing just a bit.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second. But right now, the Tennessee State Police Color Guard coming onto the track presenting the nation's colors. Here is our national anthem. And there is your national anthem. We're getting ready to get this show on the road here. We got about a minute left in the official qualifying session. At this point, I don't think Travis McQuestion's going to come out and take his second lap. So I think we're safe to move on to the grid if ready for it. Starting on the pole here for today, James Krahula. Alongside him, Devin Cannon.
Row 2, going to be Jeff Ward. Watch out for him tonight. And Tyler Dalton, always a favorite of mine to win one of these things.
Yeah, don't forget, Tyler Dalton had a really good run at Michigan going there, so he might be wanting to improve those spots just a little bit. Travis McQuestion coming home in 5th position in qualifying, and alongside him is going to be Derek Paulson occupying row 3.
Row 4, going to be Paul Pepper and Jeff Gow.
Guy that I think Sean has his eye on here for tonight. Hope for a little bit of luck. Norma Peltier the third. Alongside him, Brian Yasek.
All right, row 6, going to be Brad Collins and Woodrow Mahan.
Don Runkle Jr. I can't say his nickname as eloquently as Sean can, but Don Runkle Jr. starting at 13th overall inside of row 7. Alongside him will be Tommy Amasi.
All right, row 8 is going to be the Big Joe Show. Joe Hassert, 15th. Drew Carroll starting 16th.
In 17th position, Scott Eckridge. And Scott, I think, is one of those guys that maybe doing a little bit of strategy, trying to start in back.
Actually,
go ahead, Sean.
I'm sorry, Adam. Scott's not running. He was just out there doing some intel for his team. Scott will be up in race control. My bad.
Okay,
so go ahead, Adam.
So Rick Thompson will be in 18th position. I guess that'll move Andrew Jones up a spot into 17th position, and Fred Thompson will be alongside him. To round out the field, go ahead and go to row 11. Actually, it'll be John Wilco starting alongside Fred Thompson with Scott Eckridge out in the field, and then Stephen Herring.
Gonna get to start back there all by himself. Sorry, Stephen.
May not be necessarily a bad thing, though, if you think about it.
This is going to be a fun one. Bristol always is. This kicks off a full week of Bristol here for the Premier Racing League. They'll run the Grand National Series on Tuesday night, and then we'll be back with you Thursday night at 9 o'clock p.m. for the Patriot Fire Cup Series. But right now we are concerned and worried about the American Pool Supply Truck Series, Adam, and get ready to kick off 150 laps here. Folks, find a seat, get your popcorn ready. This is going to be one for the ages.
Well, being a short track in iRacing, we will get 2 pace laps here before we get things going. We're just waiting for the field to roll off. And, so these guys getting anxious in the car. I'm not exactly sure what James Kahula was doing right there over the driver radio, but I'm pretty sure it was entertaining. That now just waiting for those Goodyear Eagles to kind of start lighting up here and start moving these trucks across this fast half-mile facility here for today. Sean, as far as your normal woodshed pick, you know you weren't going to get away with it. What do you got here for today?
Yeah, retired from the woodshed.
Why doesn't anybody tell me these things?
No, not really. Man, I hate putting the pressure on these guys because honestly, for some of them, they feel like they have to live up to this woodshed pick. So I'll tell you what, tonight we'll say it's a pick from the Cabana. Tonight is the Cabana pick. So the Cabana pick is going to go to okay, I'm going to saddle Norman Pelletier with the Cabana pick this evening. I got a feeling, I don't know why, that the 5 and the 6, maybe lotto numbers I should play this Wednesday. I think it's going to be close to $600 million. That 5 and that 6 just look really, really good to me. So hopefully Norm has a good run this evening, can stay in this thing and get himself up in victory lane.
And can I make a pick?
Do it, man. Do it.
Whoever has the cleanest truck left at the end of this thing. Simple as that.
I think that's a good strategy, man.
Bristol, of course, known for tearing up equipment, so we'll be seeing these guys fighting hard here. James Kahula looks like he's going to go ahead and select the outside line to start this thing. Got one more time around this facility at 40 miles an hour. The amazing speed of 40 miles an hour, and of course it's not like Back to the Future when you hit 88 miles per hour. You might see some serious stuff, but I think it's going to be once you hit about 120 miles an hour, you might see some serious stuff here at Bristol here for tonight. That Mustang pace car now on the back stretch. Almost there, Sean. Get ready to kick this thing off. Any final thoughts?
I'm going to keep my thoughts with Pickle Rick. Snoop Doggy Don Runkle in the Toyota I'm Pickle Rick machine this evening. Rick and Morty fans, I'll be watching him.
And there they go. James Kahula getting himself actually a pretty decent start. Devin Cannon tries to move up to the outside early, almost makes it 3 wide back there in that second row, but with him and Jeff Ward and Tyler Dalton. But Devin Cannon is able to get out in front of those guys. In fact, he's going to go ahead and dive down here, try to get a good run off of 4. Not going to be able to get to the inside of James Kahula. James Kahula now rim riding the outside line here. You'll see it. That's going to be the preferred line here for tonight after that tracker configuration a couple years back. Jeff Ward now going for second. He's going to be in second. So right now, Kahula, Ward, and Cannon here are the top 3.
Most of the field has gone up to the line in the middle of the track. Paul Pepper stuck down below. He's really struggling. Battle for the lead up front, though. Kahula, Jeff Ward tangling up.
Jeff Ward looking hungry here early. James Kahula, I don't think he could have gotten a piece of paper between him and the wall there in the middle of the corner. and that could kill his momentum right now with Jeff Ward using that bottom line just right, still running right up to the wall down the straightaways, using whatever momentum he can. Now drifting a little bit higher, not to heat up those tires too much, and he'll try to come at James Krahula again here after everything cools down after another lap or two, I bet.
Jeff Gow trying to overtake.
Oh,
Paulson
Tyler
here
Dalton,
outside.
did he get loose back there? Just saw him shot to the inside of the track. I think he's fighting a really loose race truck.
Derek Paulson struggling down on the bottom in the number 5. Just got passed by Gow. Now Yazik almost clear, not quite. Wow, Cal losing 3 positions, now 4.
And
there
here
goes
comes
Paul
Jeff
Pepper.
Ward up the front. Oh, just as I say that, he backs off. No, he's going to dive back in. He's trying. I don't think it's there quite yet for him, though. And once again, I think he's going to have to back out and let those tires cool down.
We had a truck in the wall in the backstretch. I think it was Paulson, actually. It was. Now we've got somebody else coming in the pits. Drew Carroll.
Something with Rick Thompson getting some compliments about not causing a big wreck.
Trying to find what happened to Drew Carroll. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, just looking here, just kind of trying to figure out. Oh, I figured out what happened to Derek Paulson, though, why he dropped back a lot. He ended up tangling with Brian Yazik. So already we've got a number of trucks with actually some pretty decent damage on there, as Yazik's now tore up both on his right front and his right rear, thanks to contact with Derek Paulson here. We're going to watch it here on the replay. Might have to go a little bit further back. Maybe we might not be able to get it, but that'll be okay. As Yazik now still fighting a tough handling race truck. Let's see here. There it is. Yazik gets loose, and there comes Derek Paulson. And now Yazik's truck is definitely not handling the way that we used to seeing his truck handle. So back up front, Jeff Ward making another attempt at James Krahula. Jeff Ward, I think right now he's just a tiny bit faster than James Krahula, but as they say, catching him's one thing, passing him's another.
Watching some of the action here through the field. Big Joe Hassert just made a move on Snoop Doggy Don, took that position away from him, up to 13th for Big Joe. Several trucks battling just behind him. Paulson's still back there trying to pull off a move. And it does not go well. No. Oh boy. Paulson gets a little aggressive, gets into the back there of Andrew Jones. Watch this on the replay there. Just hooks him a little bit there, Adam.
Yeah, just misjudged that a little bit. Derek Paulson's already on the radio to apologize to him. So this is the kind of thing we've seen it in real life. We've seen it in iRacing, that sometimes you just misjudge that distance between you and the other truck, and you just catch him just a little bit, and you come off those corners, and your truck is just so light. And sometimes, even those incidents right there, there's just not much you can do. A couple trucks taking advantage here, coming down pit road. Some of the guys in the back, John Wilco, Hassert, Massey, Brad Collins, Yazik, all those guys have come down pit road here, take advantage of the early caution.
Don't have any real explanation for why Drew Carroll is out of this race now. He's taking a truck behind the wall. Maybe life happens and he had to get off for some reason. Didn't he? Had a little bit of contact with the wall, but then he just brought the truck in like a scheduled pit stop and left the race. So anyway, so there we go. That's what happened to Drew Carroll. Again, not really sure. Hope everything's okay with him. Wasn't a bad start. We got 17 laps in there. A lot of jockeying for position there early, Adam. Several drivers making a little bit of a charge there in the top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's meaning that shuffling it up, particularly in the middle part of the field, has led to a lot of contact. I mean, I think we started here with 21 trucks on the grid, and I think I want to say close to half of them have already some sort of damage, whether it be from just rubbing up against another truck or rubbing up against the wall a little bit. So far, my pick's right, Sean. Whoever has the cleanest truck, as you look at the top 5, I think they're all looking pretty clean at this point.
So
but I
far,
did cheat
so
a little bit there, to be fair.
Nope, so far so good in the top 5 for sure. Again, I thought we got off to a pretty good, solid start there. A lot of close racing, and maybe a little bit of give and take was being shown there. Got to be happy about that.
I think the big thing that I'm noticing here is after these tires cool off, we'll probably see a little bit quicker here once we go back to green, is just how fast these trucks start to become ill handling. I mean, you got some guys out there, even some of the guys in the top half of the field, that are really fighting loose race trucks off the corners here. Tire wear that important in a place like Bristol?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Now the weather conditions this evening are favorable, but because of the banking here and the speeds that they're carrying into the turns, certainly you've got to be careful with lighting up that right rear and the right front, for that matter, depending on how you like to use the brakes. But that is definitely going to be a factor. You're going to want fresh tires every chance you get to get those on the truck.
Well, looks like many of these front runners will have to wait till the next time they come in, or next caution maybe to come in, but back half of the field did. We'll have to see if they're able to improve their positions any. James Kahula is going to lead the field back to green here as they round corners 3 and 4. Jeff Ward starting to the inside of him, and Devin Cannon back there as well. David Cannon right on at James Kahula's rear bumper, but James still gets the jump over him. He's going to slide in there, but Jeff Ward's already going to dive to the inside here right off the bat. He gets a great run off of 2. Is he going to be able to hold it down there going through 3 and 4? He doesn't have the preferred line just yet. He's going to bring their truck up to the wall, try to get some momentum, and he's going to settle into second. Now go back to the high line there, at least for the moment there, Sean.
Tommy and Massey really struggled on that restart. He has dropped all the way to the end of the field now. Was in the wall for just a moment. Another truck having trouble. Big Joe Hassert, connection issues is making it a little scary for some of the other drivers around him right now.
Yeah, one guy, too, that did not get the greatest start because he got the jump pulled on him a little bit. It's Devin Cannon. Devin having to fight back here with Travis McQuestion. Finally gets the better of him, at least for the moment as well. And that puts Travis McQuestion in a position where he's going to have to fight off Jeff Gow. Jeff Gow, the first truck in the top 5, a little bit of damage from probably a little bit of wall contact. And it's going to be pretty commonplace here tonight. Is a little bit of wall contact. It's now Jeff Gow right on the back bumper and Devin Cannon going into the corner. Devin Cannon moves to the low side. He's got to be careful with that. You do not want to give Jeff Gow the high side at a place like this. And goes back to the high side now, dropping down to the middle. Go ahead.
Tyler Dalton back here, maybe trying to make it 3 wide. He's pushing all over Norm Pelletier. That is a good battle. Big Joe Hassert just behind those guys.
A little bit of contact
there. Yeah. And the Christian, the 93, kind of getting moved out of the way there by Tyler Dalton. Big Joe Hassert just overtook Snoop Dogg and Don Runkle. Don Runkle tried to get it back down there on the inside.
Not missing anything up front at this point. James Kahula still holding off Jeff Ward. This battle between third on back is the battle of the racetrack. Tyler Dalton's going to go ahead and take a look here underneath Jeff Gow. He's going to go ahead and try to make a move here, maybe try to get 2 positions in one lap. I don't think he's quite going to be there because Devin Cannon up there trying to hold up that outside line just a little bit. Tyler Dalton, great run on the inside, but going back to that tire where you don't want to hang down there too much or you're going to burn up those right sides pretty quickly. And there he goes. Oh, Devin Cannon in the wall. That tire line gets backed up once again. Jeff Gow gets into him. Jeff Gow's turned. Hard contact into the inside wall. Jeff Gow.
Man, Cannon was backing out of it. And, boy, that just did not end up well, did it?
You'll see here, Devin Cannon gets in the wall. He tries getting out of it. Jeff Gow really just had nowhere to go and just kind of a victim of circumstance right there. But, with the banking the way here it is at Bristol, you get turned on the straight, you're going to have some hard contact in the inside wall. And Jeff Gow just had that. One of the fastest trucks out here tonight. his hit. We'll have to see what kind of damage he ultimately ended up with, but that kind of contact's probably pretty significant. But many of the front runners using the opportunity to come down pit road.
And it was Norm Pelletier that got into the back of him and turns right here. You're seeing it. Really not Norm's fault. Norm had nowhere to go. Jeff was trying to avoid hitting Devin there up in the wall, and it just causes that chain reaction. One driver who just barely got by that was actually Brian Yazik on the tail end. He just gets by it as the car was spinning. It almost made contact on his left rear fender.
Well, just about everybody from second place on back went ahead and came in. Travis McQuistion actually looks like he might lose a few spots. Norman Peltier is going to gain a spot. Jeff Ward's up there. Woodrow Mahan, I'm going to guess Woodrow took 2 tires. He's going to see what happens. But that's going to move your top 4, your top 3 now to be James Krahula, Tyler Dalton, and Big Joe Hasser. Going to try to gamble a little bit here and maybe try to do something. But he's going to have a whole bunch of hungry guys with fresh tires out there right behind him.
Well, our leader, James Krahula, does elect to stay out on track. No tires, no fuel. He's obviously working a particular strategy right now, and he feels comfortable with it. Listen, when you get to restart with the clean air here at Bristol, you don't have to fight with anybody. That's not a bad place to be, regardless of how many laps you've got on the tires. You can still make gains with everybody fighting behind you. I am a little concerned about Big Joe Hasser being up here. Certainly very, very fast drivers. One of the very fast drivers that shows up here now and again. But Joe struggling with a little bit of a connection problem. Man, that could really, really play tricks on the drivers around him and especially behind him. With everybody scrambling here to get this race restarted, that could be a factor.
Of course, you see Big Joe Hassard on several different leagues and did many different broadcasts across the GSRC spectrum. And, of course, one of the leagues that he races in, the Lionheart series. And, of course, want to give our thoughts to those guys after losing one of their admins and one of their drivers, Patrick Taylor, a few weeks ago. And tough on everybody, and I'm pretty sure Jeff Hassard's one of the guys thinking out of him out there. And, of course, the iRacing community pretty close-knit, so I'm pretty sure many of these drivers out there thinking about Patrick Taylor and his family out there here for tonight. But with that, lights still on the Mustang pace car. Interesting thought here. I think Jeff Gow maybe was able to escape some serious damage. I mean, his front end's pretty well crinkled, but he decided not to come down pit road. Instead, he's going to go ahead and get the wave around the pace car here.
Yeah, going to get that lap back, and he will be our Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog here.
Now that's going to set up the front row to be James Krahula and Tyler Dalton. James, a different change here. He's going to go ahead and try for the inside. And that's going to leave Tyler Dalton on the outside line. Oh, Tyler Dalton gets a good jump here. He's going up, but he cannot get the runoff. I don't know if he had some tire spin or what, but James Krahula is quickly able to get to the high side of the racetrack, and he is out there. And already actually getting himself a pretty decent gap between him and also, him and Tyler Dalton out there. Behind him, Joe Hassard. Get turned!
Woodrow's around. Oh, and Gow also got tipped in that, and man, he ran into Norman Pelletier. Oh, boy. Let's look at that on the replay here. Yep. Woodrow in a 12 there in the middle. He's going to catch a little bit of contact, I think, from Norman Pelletier right behind him.
Yeah, it looks like that Woodrow Mahan, though, he slid into the inside wall, but he did not have hard contact with the inside wall. So hopefully just some cosmetic damage here for Woodrow Mahan. But Norman Pelletier, the third, I think it's the second time in a row. He's just been kind of in the bad place at the bad time. And Jeff Ward also, I think Jeff Ward might have been the one that had the hardest contact out of everybody in that.
Don Ruckle just escaped getting through that clean.
Well, I guess with that, we'll go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be back for more PRL, American Truck Pool Supply Series action here in just a moment. The American Pool Supply Truck Series Bristol 150. Welcome back to the action here. Lights are off on the Mustang pace car. Rounding the backstretch, we are ready to go back to green. Once again, James Krahula looks like he's going to take the inside line. Tyler Dalton on the outside. Tyler Dalton actually had himself a pretty good jump this last restart, but he wasn't able to hold it going into one, and James Krahula was able to get the dive. Here we go again. We'll see if that repeats itself this time. This time, James Krahula gets the better jump. And look back there, coming right off that contact there at the accident just a minute ago, Jeff Ward, he's going to go ahead and take a good hard look at second place there. But Tyler Dalton holding him off so far. And Jeff Ward's definitely showed himself to have a real fast truck here for tonight. He's going to go ahead and clear Tyler Dalton, and then behind him, Travis McQuestion, Joe Hassler going at it. Oh, and Travis McQuestion almost into the back end, and Tyler Dalton was able to keep it out of him. Some action already very early after that restart, Sean.
Brian Yazik trying to move through the field, but he's got Paul Pepper right in front of him. And the 67 of Brad Collins down there on the inside, making it very, very tough right now.
Battle for the lead. This is the best look that Jeff Ward has had. Those fresh tires paying off now. He's going to go ahead and clear James Krahula. James gets into the wall hard. That was not insignificant contact in the wall for James Krahula. Now he's going to have to fight for second here and hold off Tyler Dalton. Tyler Dalton still fighting hard on the inside. So now you have one of the cars with fresh tires up front, Jeff Ward, and now James Krahula and Tyler Dalton are the two cars with older tires up here. Travis McQuestion on back, with the exception of Big Joe Hassard, all on new tires out there right now. I'm actually a little bit surprised. Joe Hassard's holding his own here so far on those 50-lap old tires.
Yes, he is, and so is Krahula for that matter up there at second. But I will tell you, it does look like the bottom line has really just disappeared from this track. It's all those who have gotten down there have continued to struggle. Tyler Dalton, one of them, he is continuing to drop through the field, gets passed again.
Yeah, he's getting freight trained at this point. He's looking for a gap to get up there, and indeed he does. He's going to slide up in front of Paul Pepper. Paul Pepper has to back out of it just a little bit to give him the room to slide in.
That almost didn't work out for him at all. Pepper up here trying to have a nice battle with Brian Yazik. Yazik now thought he maybe was going to look to the inside. So hard to pass. Again, the bottom line just looks like it's disappeared for now. We'll see. They are line astern around the track, though. Oh, there goes Yazik looking to make that move. Can he win it down here in one?
One guy's still trying the inside line right now. Yazik, seen him out there just doing his best to do anything. He finally has to give up the ghost. I actually think he brushed the wall just a touch right there. Oh, contact in the back. Who's that?
Yeah,
Tyler Dalton. I see him sliding up into the wall.
Thompson.
Fred Thompson. Oh! And that's right there.
It started with Rick Thompson. Unfortunately, his truck started to spin and he couldn't correct it. And Dalton right on the inside there. There's the 19. He slaps the wall coming out of 4.
And then Don Runkle with just nowhere to go ends up T-boning him, and pretty significant damage on Don Runkle Jr.'s truck.
Let's go on board with the pickle Rick Cam. Don Runkle Jr. here. You're going to see his misfortune is going to happen right there. Nowhere to go.
Now it's Tommy Amassi that got into him and almost kind of cartwheeled him up in the air just a little bit there too. But that significant damage on several trucks out there that were showing some pretty good pace. Here's Tommy Amassi's point of view. You got a good look at Don Runkle Jr.'s truck. Yeah, that's a Rick and Morty machine. And unfortunately, it gets a little smashed up right here. It's Tommy Amassi catches both Don Runkle Jr. and the wall in a pretty good shunt right there.
And we're not passing out any free repairs here this evening. You damage it, you're stuck with it, and you've got to go in and get it repaired. And unfortunately, the type of incident there for Don Runkle Jr. is one that you generally don't come back from. That's probably destroyed the motor in that truck. Best case scenario, he's back on track in maybe 35 to 45 minutes, and it looks like any chances of a top 10 or a win for Don Runkle are out the window this evening. He was really, really running strong up there in the top 10. It's a shame that he caught that bad luck.
Very much the very much the case with the bad luck and everything out there here for tonight. And I think, once again, because of who is involved in the accident, I don't believe we have a true lucky dog out there. So Brutus, I think, is going to be staying in the kennel here for just a little bit longer for the Coastal Safety Auditors. Lucky dog will not, I just don't believe will be awarded here for this caution.
Actually, no. John Wilco is going to get the lucky dog here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
he'll get waved around here with 1 to go. Probably right here.
How did I miss that?
That's all right, man. I got it. I'm watching.
There's Brutus. We all like Brutus.
There's Brutus. That's right. John Wilco, our first, or not our first, but our lucky dog, Coastal Safety Auditors lucky dog. Coastal Safety Auditors, your one-stop shop for fire, life, and safety equipment, Adam.
Well, once we go back to green here again, Jeff Ward, who is just starting to set sail over James Krahula. I have to see what can happen here. I think the more interesting thing might be seen after seeing the last couple of restarts where James Krahula selected the inside line. We'll have to see if that'll be the case here this time. No, but it looks like Jeff Ward will indeed choose the outside line here for this next restart. But those new tires are starting to shine for him right there at the right before the caution.
Yeah, and of course, James still out on track with that original set of tires. Got almost 60 laps on him now. James thinking about maybe trying the one-stop strategy on this race. It's certainly possible. We're not too far from the halfway point of this race, racing for those big points at the halfway.
And we still have a truck still smoking out there. Not sure what happened. If there was, I think Brad Collins blew his engine here coming to the green. Now Jeff Ward gets a big jump out there over James Krahula. He's going to try to set sail. Yazik is around into the inside wall. I couldn't see who followed him into the inside wall, but
no caution yet. Yazik and McQuistion go around, make hard contact, but the green is still out. We're still green. They were able to tow in. We're still green. Here on the replay, McQuistion's going to get into the back of
Yazik gets loose. McQuistion can't do anything with it, and they just follow each other in the inside wall, but they stay off the racing line, so no yellow here at Bristol. So they stay green out there with Jeff Ward now in the lead of this race. And I just went through the field real quick, and I think Jeff Ward is one of the cleanest trucks still remaining out there. Him along with Paul Pepper, actually. Paul Pepper's in third. James Krahula so far holding his own, but Jeff Ward, the fastest truck on the racetrack right now, with James Krahula in second. Taking a look back, Stephen Herring taking a look to the inside of Rick Thompson. See if he's able to do anything with him here. Once again, Sean, you're noting that inside line starting to go away, but we're still able to see these real short attempts at trying to make a move.
Yeah, well, we'll see as this race continues on. The only problem is not near as many trucks on this truck as when we started. We're down to 14 out here running now from the 21 that started this race. Brian Yazik caught a break, guys. He made slight contact with the inside wall. He was able to get the car turned around, back on track. He's charging back up through the field. Just passes Fred Thompson. Got himself up to 11th. Yazik's truck, though, still, and he makes some contact with the wall there.
That's about the third time I've seen him in the wall since the accident. I don't think that truck's driving straight, which wouldn't surprise me given the amount of damage on there. But we go back up to the front. Tyler Dalton now right on the rear bumper of Woodrow Mahan. And that Budweiser machine and that Haviland machine kind of harken back to some old days and some old vehicles you might have seen here at Bristol once upon a time. Tyler just kind of driving almost that middle line, I think, at this point. I think he might be trying to make the best of both worlds at this point.
Boy, and Big Joe Hassert looking to make a move. Look at him go down on the bottom. Hassert trying to make that bottom line work, but does not get the exit off to get by him on the straight. Dalton still stuck up there up top. Hassert, again, does not have as good an exit, not enough speed down the straight to clear him and move up.
About 5 laps away from the halfway mark here. Remember, there are bonus points that are awarded to the top 10 at halfway, so we'll be keeping an eye on that as well. But up front, Jeff Ward, now over a second, almost a second and a half advantage on James Krahula. Caution is on the speedway.
Oh boy, Fred Thompson. Did he just lose it? He did. He lost it coming off a 4. Oh, what a shame. Fred had just missed an incident there a couple laps ago, and he just slides it coming off a 4. Hits that inside barrier. Doesn't wreck the truck too bad. He might be able to get that banged out. Still have a shot at maybe pulling off a top 10 run here tonight.
Now, depending on who you are, we go back and think about who is in the close, tight points battles here. Are you thinking about points, about whether you pit right now with in giving up possibly a top 10 spot for that bonus points?
I'm taking my bonus points, especially if I'm James Krahula right here. I'm not going in. Yeah, I mean this is the script for James. He's not coming in. He's going to take his bonus points. I don't think Ward will either. I think Ward would like those bonus points from the point. I don't know. It would be interesting to see if maybe a couple guys head down here in the top 10. In fact, we've already seen Paul Pepper, Brian Yazik, Stephen Herring in the pit.
And I do believe, if I'm looking at the scoring sheet here, right, that... Well, he might have given up the position, but I think Tommy Massey was in line for the lucky dog. But he has decided to go ahead and come down pit road. And there is halfway. So the American Pool Supply halfway finisher. Well, as far as leading it halfway, going to go to Jeff Ward. Jeff Ward going to get the most bonus points out of everybody out there. We'll run down the top 10 for you here real quick. That's Ward, Krahula, Mahan, Tyler Dalton, Rick Thompson, John Wilco out there, Devin Cannon, Big Joe Hasser in 8th, Brian Yazik in 9th, and Stephen Herring in 10th position. 12 cars on the lead lap right now, so almost everybody is able, that's on the lead lap, is able to take advantage of those bonus points. It would be a question of how many bonus points you're going to be able to get.
Well, the Coliseum has definitely claimed a healthy amount of victims this evening. Several trucks behind the wall here at this point. Travis McQuistion, Brad Collins, Jeff Gow, Andrew Jones, Don Runkle, Norman Pelletier. Again, Norm just can't catch a break, man. Drew Carroll. So, again, been tough on a lot of these drivers. But, hey, that's all right. We're going to get back to racing here. We're past the halfway point. Jeff Ward, James Krahula keeping things really, really fast up front. Krahula, the only truck in this field, still on track without a pit stop.
Well, so far it's been able to keep him up front. But you got to think, now that he's at the halfway part, when is he going to start thinking about go ahead and trying to come down and at least get some fresh 4 Goodyear Eagles on that pickup truck? I have a feeling it'll be sooner rather than later. Anyway, lights are off on the pace car. Jeff Ward is going to elect to take the outside line here to start things off with. James Krahula will start alongside him. Behind them, you'll have Woodrow Mahan and Tyler Dalton, Rick Thompson, and John Wilco. Those are going to be your front 3 rows right here. I think James has to count on getting a good jump here, doesn't he, Sean?
Yes. James got to win this drag race here when we get started. We'll see, though. The top line seems to really, really move a lot better here on these restarts, and we are gone.
Yeah, Jeff Ward's he ended up being the one to get the jump. Slightly newer tires, able to get the grip down, but he gets kind of a little bit loose. It looked like going into 1. That allowed James Krahula to close the gap just a little bit.
Oh. Truck struggling the wall there, the 62. John Wilco really, really struggling up top. Everybody getting by.
It's already a little bit of action fresh off the restart. So, of going on back. Everybody's nose to tail. Once you get back to Joe Hassert and then Rick Thompson trying to hold on to that 5th position, and Big Joe Hassert trying to take it here at this point. Yazik is trying to follow him through, and they did it on the low line. I think Rick Thompson might be having a little bit of trouble up there as far as trying to keep that truck going straight at this point. Yazik, though, with that truck that I am sure is not driving straight after some of that big accident he had a little while ago, is finally starting to be able to make up some positions. Behind him, though, Paul Pepper, it looked like he was getting a little loose on the inside line. He's fighting with Devin Cannon. Is he going to be able to do anything here? So far, Devin Cannon's been able to hold him off.
I'll tell you what, the race to watch right now is Big Joe Hassert, man. He has really got Woodrow Mahan set up. Looking to the inside now here. Joe looking to take another spot. Big Joe up 10 spots right now, up to 5th. Looking for a spot on this podium. Hassert fighting down on the inside. He's one of the drivers trying to make this inside line work, Adam.
Yeah, big movers here so far. Woodrow Mahan, Joe Hassert. Woodrow's up 8 positions, Joe Hassert up 10. One guy that we wouldn't think of being a big mover because, well, I guess in the grand scheme of things, where we've been talking about, but being able to take advantage of some attrition, Stephen Herring up 12 positions. He started in 22nd today. He is up to 10th position. And you see him fighting back there right now with Rick Thompson alongside Derek Paulson back there as well. So he's trying to get a few more spots now, up to 9th.
You know, our point leader, man, Brian Yazik, really struggling tonight. He's been mired back here mid-pack, really not been able to make any moves. In fact, I think that halfway point bonus for Krahula up there, I think that put him in front of Yazik in the points here, picking up those bonus points, and Yazik struggling back there. See, if you want to call 6th place struggling, that's where Yazik's at. He's going to need a little bit of luck at this point because Hassert is still digging up in front of him there, still fighting with Woodrow Mahan.
Right now, the entire field getting around the slower lap truck right now of Fred Thompson. If you see Colonel Sanders flying by the inside row of the track, that'll be Fred Thompson still trying to recover from that earlier accident. So out there right now, everybody that is on the lead lap. Then Fred Thompson's your first car 2 laps down, and I think just about everybody behind him is actually off the track. So I believe he is the last car running in this field, at least at this point. Up front, James Krahula and Tyler Dalton back there fighting. And don't forget, you got Woodrow Mahan right there as well, with Mahan and Big Joe Hassert now getting into the mix there too. So once again, things starting to heat up there in the top 5 with everything except your leader.
Big Joe Hassert coming on the radio asking race control for some PJ1 down on the bottom. That is the track adhesive that they've been using at some of the tracks in NASCAR this season. Joe, you're not going to get it. You're going to have to keep fighting Woodrow Mahan there. Look at this shot on board. Woodrow just keeps winning the race down the straight, and it's just not been enough for Joe to clear him and move up in front of him. They keep doing this lap after lap. They've been hooked up for about a good 10 laps now.
Yeah, just about everybody, at least at this point, just single file starting to click off laps. You know, that's the thing at Bristol. I mean, yeah, you want to have good green flag racing, but if you're some of these guys who are trying to advance your positions, once you go green flag racing, these laps disappear in a hurry. I mean, we were talking, you know, look at the lap times there, just a little bit over 15 seconds. So this race will be over here before you know it. So you already got to start thinking about making moves and making them now.
And Krahula still out there wheeling it in second, man. He approaching 100 laps on those tires. And the truck is still running really well. Not well enough to catch Jeff Ward.
Speaking of making a move, Joe Hassert just made a big one off to the inside. Is he able to clear Woodrow Mahan that time? No. But he actually loses a lot of momentum, and he's going to have Paul Pepper right up behind him here.
Yeah, the battle between these two has definitely brought Pepper into the picture. And a 3-car or 3-truck battle is certainly shaping up. Fred Thompson down there on the bottom. They're getting by him. Fred out here keeping us all hungry. Thank you, Fred.
These guys right now, once again, for the most part, single file. Joe Hassert right now calming down. He's starting to run the high line a little bit, maybe trying to cool down those tires and try to make another dive at Woodrow Mahan here before too long. And in fact, just as I say that, he takes a look. Let's see if he does anything here. Big Joe Hassert right now, I think if he could get some clean air, he might have one of the faster trucks on this racetrack, running 15.3s right now, and your leader actually running 15.3s as well. One guy we might need to bring up, it might take him a little while to get back there, but James Krahula finally starting to get a little bit of speed back there. So let's see, we'll watch their lap times. They come across the line. Your leader, Jeff Ward, a 15.362. And James Krahula, okay, so James was just about a tenth slower than your leader, Jeff Ward, that last time by. Now, James Krahula is also going to watch out here for these guys behind him, Tyler Dalton specifically, but now Joe Hassert starting to take another look to the inside of Woodrow Mahan. Last time he did this, he lost all his momentum and then had to start fighting off Paul Pepper. Is he going to be able to do anything with him this time? He's going to be able to ride on the inside of him now for a good solid lap.
Oh, and Mahan's going to get a shot from behind there by Paul Pepper. And I honestly think that hurt him because now Joe looks primed to pull off this move. It got Mahan a little bit out of shape. He's running up the track a little bit farther than he has been now.
Wow. Battle on the racetrack right now. Fourth place rather, between Woodrow Mahan, Joe Hassert, and Paul Pepper. And I think Joe Hassert almost lost the back end right there. And once again, he's going to lose momentum. Paul Pepper's going to get up right up to the back end of Woodrow Mahan. He's going to be able to follow him through. And now you got a lap truck here to contend with. That lap truck is the lap truck of John Wilco out there still trying to turn some laps. And that's going to break up that battle. Joe Hassert's going to ultimately lose that position to Paul Pepper. Paul Pepper now to the inside of Woodrow Mahan. Can't do anything with him either.
Yeah, Joe's got to be careful here. Certainly Paul Pepper now up in this mix changes the whole look of that. Unfortunately, he loses that spot. Wilco there being in the track did not help his cause at all. Gonna have to watch out for Brian Yasek, who's now starting to pick things up just a bit. He finds himself behind Hassert now.
Well, at least for the time being, to go back to being single file here with, I think, Joe Hassert trying to cool his tires after abusing him a little bit on that right-hand line for several laps. Looking back up front, the gap stays the same between Krahula and Dalton, but Ward continues to set sail. I think he had a couple of off laps, but since then, he's been plenty faster than James Krahula and now starting to try to run away with it. I think right now, Sean, a caution would be James Krahula's best friend.
Yeah,
at least for a shot at the win, but when you look at the big points battle, I mean, I'd take second place with as close of a points battle as he in, but he's got to worry about Tyler Dalton. I think Tyler Dalton here is starting to gain on him just a little bit.
Yeah, he's starting to gain, but you know what?
Woodrow Mahan, I got a little tight, it looked like, up there that last time. It's going to allow Paul Pepper, who was taking a look, to get to the inside, but it kills both their momentums, and guess who's back? That's right, Joe Hassert making a play on fourth here, except now it's Paul Pepper on the outside with Joe Hassert on the inside, and looking at Woodrow Mahan there in the popcorn position, but Paul Pepper's going to get the better of him there as the last time off four.
Well, I guess Joe gets to learn whether or not Paul is as consistent as Woodrow was. Maybe Paul can open up a door that Woodrow hadn't for Joe. I have a feeling if Joe can clear him, I really think he's hooked up here. He's got the speed to possibly catch Dalton.
Okay, so right now, I've been watching James Krahula. Every single time he flies behind the camera, I'm watching to see how close those guys are. Go ahead.
Pepper was in the wall. Pepper was in the wall there back in turn 2.
Doesn't seem to have hurt him too much. But Tyler Dalton getting real big in the rearview mirror now of James Krahula. And then also those guys back there with Paul Pepper and Joe Hassert in that Woodrow Mahan group, they've actually been starting to run laps faster even while they're fighting than James Krahula. We could have a big battle for second here if this keeps up here for too much longer. I think one of the bigger stories right now, though, is here the last couple of laps. Woodrow Mahan has really fallen off the back end of Joe Hassert and Paul Pepper.
Well, I think it was that fighting he was doing with Hassert there for so many laps. Talk about upsetting the tires and making him angry. I think Woodrow did exactly that. I don't know if Joe Hassert's got enough left in those tires to fight Paul Pepper. But Joe probably hoping Paul will make some sort of mistake to help him help himself. And Paul getting around pretty well, but occasionally you will see him run up the track a little bit high. So close to that wall, it slides it.
Ooh, and now these guys are coming up too now on the lap trucks that are fighting between Fred Thompson and John Wilco. They're running side by side now. You got second, third place coming up here. John Wilco finally separates himself just in time.
Yeah, now so far so good. The lap traffic's done a good job of staying out of trouble and not making themselves a factor in these battles. Boy, Dalton does look like he's starting to pick it up just a little bit here on James.
I'm not so sure it's not Tyler Dalton picking it up. I think it's James. Just that now 120 lap old tires. I think he's doing everything he can out there right now, and Tyler Dalton just has that much fresher rubber. And I think it's slowing down Tyler Dalton to the point that look who's right there almost. The Paul Pepper right behind now by about a half second. And he's going to be there before he knows it too. And then James Kahula is going to have his hands full.
Well, things have certainly thinned out here. 13 trucks on track has made navigating a little bit easier. But
sorry.
I was going to say, but it hasn't diminished the fight.
And don't forget that second and third in points, at least going into Bristol tonight, James Kahula and Tyler Dalton. So there are points to be paid here for Tyler Dalton to try to be able to gain a little bit of ground on James Kahula in the overall scheme of things, if he can get by him here.
Pepper has made his way there to the bumper of Tyler Dalton. We're not talking about two anymore. We're definitely talking about these three. Pepper looking to make a move. Gets right up on the wicker there of Tyler Dalton. Gets a good exit. Can't do anything there at the line. They'll battle for another lap. 25 laps to go. It's time to boogie, baby. Let's get this going, Paul Pepper.
There he goes.
Take it
Paul
away.
Pepper, take a look. Oh, no. Slow. No.
And
they get inside wall, both of them.
And that's going to bring out the caution flag. Yes, there it is.
Oh, just tough break.
Pepper's truck slides back up into the racing line. That'll bring out the caution. Here they are, side by side, heading to the turn at him.
Yeah, Tyler Dalton just gets a big run. He really can't. I don't think he really could back off of him at that point. I mean, it's just kind of committed, and both have. Tyler Dalton, I think, had the worst contact. I think Paul Pepper actually avoided getting into the inside wall just barely, but I think he might have brushed the outside wall when he came back. You see, Paul Pepper coming back up in front of Tyler Dalton, and Tyler just really didn't have anywhere to go at that point.
Okay, so Jeff Ward looked to fake there at pit lane. He stayed out, but Kahula comes in, and so does everybody else behind him pretty much. Dalton does stay out. Ward stays out.
Ooh, James Kahula might lose a couple spots here. Nope, he gets out in front of Joe Hassard, so it does lose a spot to Paul Pepper, but James Kahula coming over the radio confirming that 130 laps on tires was not fun. But he's going to have some fresh rubber out there, along with Paul Pepper, who's fast. So Tyler Dalton and Jeff Ward are going to have their hands full here. And now you have to think, is everything going to be okay between Tyler Dalton and Paul Pepper here? I mean, these guys all get along, of course, for the most part, but it is Bristol, so we got to watch out for that. They'll be starting pretty close to each other here on the restart.
Well, I'll tell you what, James Kahula played the long game. I got to be honest with you, it's worked out for him. He's going to get to restart on the second row. Certainly not out of contention for winning this race. I know Jeff Ward has been strong, but Jeff has got almost 100 laps on his tires now. Kahula is fresh and ready. And, boy, I'll tell you what. You're at the betting window. You want to make a late bet. The 4 may not be a bad number to put it on.
No, I would say maybe not. We'll have to see if that ends up changing his opinion of Bristol here. But Jeff Ward has had the truck as of late, and We'll see what he's able to do with I guess now having some of the older tires out there. And don't forget that Tyler Dalton just had a pretty good hit into the inside wall. Is his truck going to drive okay on this restart? And that's something you need to think about too, Sean, is if his truck's not driving straight and on old tires, once he jumps on the gas, is he going to have even more problems than usual?
Yeah, it could make it really, really tough on the restart. The front row, those are the only trucks that did not pit this time around. They're going to have everybody behind them with fresh tires. This could get really, really tricky for Tyler Dalton down there on the bottom.
Well, lights are off on the pace car. We'll find out here soon enough. I hate to make predictions like this, but it's Bristol. End of the race. Cautions can sometimes breed cautions. We may not be done following that Mustang pace car here just yet tonight. But Jeff Ward is electing to take the outside line. That'll leave Tyler Dalton on the inside. And starting back there in third position is going to be James Krahula as well. So these guys, I still think Jeff Ward has the cleanest looking truck out there. I think everybody else has some degree of damage. Pace car is pulled off. Jeff Ward gets his jump. Tyler Dalton spins the tires just a little bit. Paul Pepper's going to take a look to the inside of him. We're 3 wide for second with James Krahula on the outside. Tyler Dalton's around in front of Paul Pepper again. Is he able to save it? No, we got a big contact in the back.
We do, and another caution flag. Boy, you called that, contact between Pepper and Dalton. This does not end well. It's going to be Woodrow Mahan, Devin Cannon all get wrapped up in that. Yeah, boy. Woodrow just catches that. Saw the 5 there, Derek Paulson. Fighting hard, trying to make it 3 wide. We'll watch it from Woodrow Mahan.
Yeah, and see, that's a tough spot for Paul Pepper there because, if you try to hold the truck down too much on the inside right there, the back end's going to come around on you, and it just 3 wide is very, very tough at a place like Bristol, and you got to see why right there. As Coastal Safety Auditor's Lucky Dog, I believe this time is going to go to John Wilco, who's going to come around, and I think that's going to put him back just being 1 lap down. So Brutus gets to come out. We'll see if it's the last time tonight that Brutus comes out of the kennel and jumps on his wheel and tries to do some laps around Bristol.
Coastal Safety Auditor's Lucky Dog. Coastal Safety Auditors, your one-stop shop for fire, life, and safety equipment. Good dog, Brutus. Good dog.
Couple guys in the back taking advantage of the caution to come in, maybe get a little bit of damage fixed, maybe get some new tires, just have just that couple more laps fresher. Unfortunately, though, it does look like Woodrow Mahan is going to be calling it a night after everything that he's been through here this evening. But don't look now. Look who that moves up into 4th position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brian Yazik finally has inserted himself into the battle here, battling for the podium now. I guess when it counts at the most important time of the race here near the end. Do not count Brian Yazik out of this race yet. I still think James Krahula got a shot at this thing. He's going to have to fight Ward. It could wind up being the fight of his life. But Ward is not. He's not unbeatable. James has been awful strong here this evening. But the one thing you did say that rings true, Adam. That clean truck for Jeff Ward, that's a hard thing to deny. Without any damage, he could be impossible to beat here tonight.
Well, and I hate to, make bold predictions. Okay, I like to make bold predictions, but if you think about it, 10 races left here. These guys do get 2 weeks off. In South Boston in 2 weeks will be the next race. But you got to think that close points battle between Brian Yazik and James Krahula here. Are we going to see this type of action the rest of these 10 races between these two of trying to, Yazik trying to crawl back to James or James trying to crawl back to Brian? We could be in for a pretty epic points battle here, and it definitely has all the flavor of it.
All right, the lights are out on the pace car being driven tonight by Knoxville's finest, Officer Brian Greenlee, making the trip over to Bristol tonight to get in the pace car. So good job, Brian, as you lead him down the back stretch. This could be the last time Will we see that yellow laundry again? I hope not, man.
Well, 13 laps to go. Either way, it's going to go quickly. Jeff Ward electing to take the outside, but he's got James Krahula underneath him. James Krahula's on the fresher rubber. Jeff Ward gets the jump. I actually think James Krahula spun his tires just a little bit, but he's able to hang on to second. He's going to get a good run here going through 1 and 2. He's going to be able to slide up and take second place. Now we get to see, does he have anything for Jeff Ward? He's going to climb right up underneath the rear bumper. Jeff Ward's going to have to go defensive. We have another car shooting off to the inside. I think it's Joe Hazard. He's back on track. I think he'll be okay. Battle up front still between Jeff Ward. James Krahula is going to dive to the inside. Is he going to be able to do anything with it? No. Jeff Ward gets that good run on the outside, carries that momentum through, and he's going to retain that lead for another lap. But James Krahula is right there. He is hungry. He wants that race win if he can get it. He's going to take another look at that race lead. Oh, Jeff Ward just brushes the wall a little bit on entry to the corner. James Krahula still cannot perfectly clear him just yet.
Tell you what, James is really wheeling it right now. Gives it back to Ward there. Yazik back here in third. Paul Pepper now into fourth. Big Joe Hazard got a horrible restart when that green came out. Slotted him all the way back to sixth. Stephen Herring having an amazing run right now.
Yeah, he's going to be taking a look. He would like a top 5 finish here for tonight for his efforts.
Boy, look at Pepper. Pepper made a bold move. Now Hazard making the move on Pepper.
Oh, Yazik.
This is crazy.
A little bit. Battle for the lead has calmed down just a touch, but Krahula is right there. We'll go up to her if we need to, but right now that battle on the racetrack is Joe Hazard trying to do something on the inside. Now almost to the rear quarter panel. As James Krahula is going to dive to the inside, back up front. And can't do anything with it. I really thought that might have been the time right there. But just can't. So now he's going to have to wait another maybe lap or two before he's able to try again, or will he? Meanwhile, Joe Hazard now back to the inside of Yazik. As the he's on third and fourth.
This is a big battle. Joe Hazard trying to take this away from Brian Yazik for the podium. Krahula up front making another move at Jeff Ward.
3 laps to go. I believe they're coming to 2 laps to go. Next time by will be the white flag. Could we see a bump and run at Bristol tonight? We'll see. We'll know here pretty quick. Got about a lap and a half. James Krahula's right up to the rear bumper. Now white flag, excuse me. We have taken the white flag. Jeff Ward is in the wall, but James Krahula's loose underneath him. Jeff Ward gets the run off the corner. James Krahula's going to have to fight. Yazik gets turned. He gets straightened out. He keeps in the gas, but in the wall hard.
Wow. Wow. That's a little bit of contact there by Joe Hazard on James Krahula there. I mean, on Brian Yazik. That didn't end well.
Yazik is not happy with Joe Hazard here, but that was tight racing here coming to the line. Joe Hazard just drifts a little bit wide here, and this is coming to the white flag right now. Going through 1 and 2 now, side by side. They ran side by side for so long. Going through 3 and 4. Joe Hazard gets the look. He's going to run a little wide, get right into the quarter panel of Yazik. Yazik slams into the wall, but he's able to keep in the gas and at least bring it home, but in 6th position when it could have been a 3rd place for him. And I think that's going to mean James Krahula is going to be coming out of here with the points lead tonight.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what's going to happen. In fact, I'll tell some truth now. Krahula had sent me a message after the halfway and said he was ahead of Yazik in points. He should know. He calculates them. But Adam, boy, what a race! What a finish we got there!
What a fantastic drive by Jeff Ward there to come home with that race win. And I think we speak for everybody here when we say donuts. All right. Hey, we'll be back here in just a few minutes. We'll run down your finishing order. But congratulations, Jeff Ward, the winner of the Bristol 150. And what an exciting American Pool Supplies Truck Series Bristol 150 here for tonight. It was everything you expect Bristol to be. There was a little bit of chaos. There was a lot of close action in side-by-side racing. But coming home with the win here today, Jeff Ward comes home a half second up on James Kahula. They were alongside each other, I believe, coming to the white flag. And, well, one thing led to another. Jeff Ward comes home with the win. James Kahula is in second. Joe Hassard comes home in third after late race contact with Brian Yazik. Paul Pepper is in fourth. Tyler Dalton recovering after a big accident, come home in fifth. Yazik, after his accident right there, coming to the checkered flag, coming home in sixth. Stephen Herring. Stephen, hey, we got to give a big shout out to Stephen Herring. He's your big mover on the day. Started in 22nd. He's going to come home seventh here for today. Devin Cannon in eighth. John Wilco in ninth, and Derek Paulson in 10th.
All right, and then we've got 11th place going to go to Fred Thompson. 12th, Woodrow Bayhan. Rick Thompson. 13th tonight, Tommy and Massey. 14th. Obviously, all these trucks here, several laps down. Not a good night for them. Jeff Gow going to finish 15th. 16th, going to go to Andrew Jones. 17th, Brad Collins. Travis Christian. 18th. I'm a Pickle Rick. Snoop Doggy Don Ruckle in the double lot will finish 19th. 20th, go to Norman Pelletier. And Drew Carroll was the first truck out tonight. If you had him in the pool, you get your money back. He finished 21st.
And that's going to pretty much round out your field here for tonight. So with that, I say let's go ahead and he might not like us, or he might wish we hadn't, but we're going to let Sean talk to Jeff Ward. I mean, Jeff's going to be mad at us for letting Sean talk to him, but Sean, go ahead and catch up here with Jeff Ward.
Yeah, Jeff, congratulations on another big win. Talk us through the race after the last restart and the battle you were having with Krahula.
Yeah, what a battle. That was, it's so hard to pass on the bottom, but that last lap I got up and kind of grazed the wall, and if James wouldn't have got loose down there, I think he got pretty loose on the bottom as well. If he wouldn't have done that, he would have had a good run off and probably went ahead and finished the pass and won it. So man, that come down to the wire. Them old tires were a handful, and I'd seen James do it early in the race, and he seemed to still be pretty fast on old tires, so I thought I'd try to stay out, and it was close. It come close to not working, but I'm glad it did, and that was a hell of a battle for me and James there.
Well, he went 130 on his. You wound up going about 118 on yours. And, well, like you said, it made it very, very difficult. And you even made a little bit of contact with the wall. You had no trouble that whole race until it became a battle there at the end. Jeff, though, man, what's the secret to your success, man? All these iRacers here watching, all the fans watching, they want to know, how do you keep winning these races? What's going on over there?
I just put in a lot of practice time. Then I got got some pretty fast teammates that I can lean on anytime we go to a new track. If we're struggling a little bit, I can ask them, what they might be doing to find speed, and then usually just kind of bounce off each other. And that's why I'm glad to be running for the team I'm with there with Lap Pedal. But yeah, man, just a lot of practice time and really just turning laps and trying to learn every track the best I can. Well,
buddy, that puts you up to 7 wins on the season. You've got more than anybody at this point. You started a little late, missed I think about half a dozen races, and you're slowly climbing up, getting those bonus points coming up the ladder every week. But boy, it's still a long haul. You're in 8th and you're 206 points behind. I guess the only recipe is to keep winning at this point. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're going to try to. My goal is just kind of try to crack the top 5. I think would be a heck of a comeback since we missed a lot of races. So I just kind of set that goal for me, top 5, and a lot of times I like to run these trucks because it gives me an idea of how to drive the Xfinity car and what the track's going to do, and I'm really trying to go for a championship in that series. I've never won a championship here at PRL, so that would be pretty special to be able to finish that off. So running these helps out a lot, man, for Xfinity and Cup. So just keep digging at it. That's all we can do.
All right, Jeff. Well, we will see you next week, buddy. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, just Loud Pedal Motorsports. I thank you guys for doing a broadcast, and I got to thank James for racing me clean there. He easily could have, come up, busted me in the tail there, and made me really fight for it. But hey, it seems like me and James always have good, clean battles, and when we get in the situation, I'll return the favor to him. But yeah, man, good night, and that's just like to thank friends and family as well.
All right, Jeff. We'll see you Thursday night back here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. That was Jeff Ward there, Adam, and I know you've caught up with a very excited James Krahula.
Yeah, James, tell us about that fight there the last couple laps there with Jeff Ward. We just heard his point of view. How about your point of view?
Man, the fact that he hit the wall too, that's really upsetting because I had to dive it in low. If you're going to make the bottom work, you have to. You have to get lucky. You have to have the truck hook up, and you just have to run pretty much a perfect lap. Even with especially with the older tires, you still had to run a perfect lap to try and get past. It's the Bristol's tore up since they did the repave and everything. So this is the way that the racing is now, and you just have to kind of go with it. But I had a great race with Jeff Ward all season long, and just all season long. I love racing around Jeff. He's a great guy. I know that he would definitely return the favor and race me the same way. So I just tried to return the respect to him. I'm not much for moving people out of the way unless they deserve it, and Jeff Ward's not one of those people that deserves a move like that.
Yeah, tell us about your strategy there as far as coming out and just running the first 130 laps. We heard you come over the radio and say that was not fun as far as on tires. We didn't think it would be. What was your decision process behind doing that?
Well, the truck really wasn't dropping off too much on speed, and it's all about getting the American Pool Supply halfway. You got to get those points. I'm battling hard with Yazik here for this overall title, and at every point. So you stay out there, and we had that. We had a couple yellows there in the front, and really weren't dropping off, trying to get as many points as we could. Then the yellow came out there where we were going to finish the halfway underneath yellow. So you had to, you can't pit there. You got to stay out and get those points. I think that's the right strategy call. We don't know exactly how this is working out, but I still think that's the right strategy call. And then we run another 65 laps after that green. So it just kind of came at a bad time, but we had a strong truck. Back when I was still rocking the TSW, I couldn't run Bristol. I would burn the tires up. I couldn't get it working. This new T300, it really does a good job, and I was actually able to be competitive at Bristol for once, and so that felt really good, and didn't really know what the hell I was supposed to be doing, but anyway, it just worked out that way, and we're lucky to come back and get a top 2 with that.
And of course, James, I wanted you here for this, but I believe we got the updated point standings here, and congratulations, you are now the points leader over Brian Yazik by 7 points. I'm thinking we're setting up for a pretty epic battle here between you and Yazik as far as the last 10 races.
Yeah, I think it'd be even better if we had a whole bunch of gimmicks and everything like that. But no, it's the points battle is great. This is what stock car racing, what racing should be. Period is going for the being consistent throughout the entire season. And Brian's made it tough. He's had to miss a lot of races, going to a lot of races in real life. That's the reason I missed a race or two. So. That's a lot of the reason why I'm up here. He's gotten a lot more wins than I do. I need to get in the victory lane here in this fall segment here before we get to Atlanta, and if we're gonna be able to hold on. But consistency, just trying to make the most out of every single race, get those halfway bonuses, the American Pool Supply halfway bonus, and do the best we can.
All right, James. Hey, I got to get the obligatory NASCAR thing. Go ahead and take a moment. Thank your sponsors.
Thank you to Coastal Safety Auditors, Patriot Fire, of course, American Pool Supply. I can't thank them enough for sponsoring this series and stepping up. I mean, it's great having these races here on GSRC this year. I had a lot of fun with that. So thank you, Billy Tungate, for getting that all situated, and we really look forward to working with you in the future.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, your second place finisher tonight, James Krahula, and I believe that with that, Sean's going to catch up here with Joe Hassert.
Big Joe Hassert, big win this evening. Maybe shouted at a little bit of controversy, Joe. Anything you want to say there about that last lap?
Well, I just want to apologize to Brian. I know, he's running for the season championship and everything, but I know there's segments involved, so I'm trying to run this fall segment here, I guess. And I don't know, I might be biased, but I wasn't sure that I came up there, but that's for another day. If everybody thinks I got into him, I apologize, but I wasn't trying to do him dirty. We're friends, we're teammates in IndyCar. I don't want to try to do anybody dirty like that.
Well, Joe, it did take 150 laps to get there. It was a pretty exciting race. You come all the way back from 15th spot to do it. What was it like getting around Bristol for all 150 of those laps in your truck?
Well, I didn't run a lot of practice, but I was so bad at the beginning and in practice and qualifying. And I have this Thrustmaster, the Formula 1 wheel, and, it's cut off on the top and the bottom. So... And being an IndyCar guy, I'm trying to turn the wheel as least amount as possible. I'm like, why am I so slow? Well, I started turning the wheel a little bit more, and all of a sudden it started hooking up, and I just found speed naturally. And that's when I started making my way up. Got lucky, dodged 3 or 4 wrecks, and I don't know. I would have loved to try to get that bottom to hook up. I felt stuck for a while on new tires, buying some guys with old tires, just tried to make some positions there, but I couldn't get that bottom to hook up at all.
Yeah, I think you join a long list of drivers that could not get the bottom to hook up for this truck tonight. Joe, congratulations on a podium finish and getting the fall session off to a good start for yourself and getting those third place points. We'll see you next week, my friend.
All right, thanks. Look forward to seeing you the rest of the year.
All right, that was Big Joe Hassert, our third place finisher this evening. Adam, remember, American Pool Supply, our big sponsor this evening. Hashtag the pool is clean.
Well, I think after Bristol, after a normal Bristol race, the pool may not be as clean as what we think it is, at least for the next couple of weeks. But everybody will cool down here by the time we get to South Boston. But, South Boston, another short track. And we've got that coming up here in 2 weeks on GSRC. So, Sean, any final thoughts here about tonight?
You know what? It proves to be an exciting week for Bristol. I'm really looking forward to getting here Thursday night and watching the Cup cars. Probably going to peek in on the Xfinity cars Tuesday night because I'm sure they're going to have a pretty good battle here. Bristol, a fun track to race, a fun track to watch. I'm looking forward to the week full of fun here in the Premier Racing League.
All right. Well, with that, I want to give a special thanks to the Premier Racing League for putting on the American Pool Supply Truck Series. Also, thanks to the software and hardware that we use for our broadcast, so you can see there listed on your screen.
And also thanks to our musical contributors, Eric Duckholm and Casey Lalonde, whose music you can find at the websites listed. For more information about future races, you can see that list on screen here in just a moment, or you can visit our website, globalsimracingchannel.com, where you can check out our past broadcasts. We've got a great archive section there, as well as our future schedule.
Yeah, the next race for the American Pool Supply Truck Series is going to be September 10th. We're going to South Boston. These guys get to do the whole South short track thing all over again at another track with famous NASCAR roots. We hope to see you at 9 p.m. Eastern for that race. Congrats again to our winner, Jeff Ward. For Dougie Beard, Joe Peak, and Sean Ambrose, I'm Adam Young. Race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.